My name is Zaka. I'm CEO of the Jerusalem Press. Never in my life have I imagined that we would be hosting such a conference. At JPC, this really is a privilege. Zaka teams have been working voluntarily for a week and a half around the south with dedication to identify and provide victims with complete burial, making sure no one is left behind. Thank you, Zaka, for allowing us to bring your story to the world and for your service to Israelis of all kinds, as well as Jewish people everywhere around the world. Thank you to the Israelis NGO for your partnership, for your leadership. In a moment, I will hand the microphone off to you. And thank you also to Mishkenot Sha'ananim Cultural Center, which is where we're sitting, as well as to the Jerusalem Foundation for providing us the venue. I will first say a few words on behalf of Zaka after being asked. Zaka would like to thank the Jewish federations, foundations, and donors from all around the world for their generosity and support in assisting them to fulfill their mission until every last victim is found and identified. Zaka is a non-governmental rescue and recovery organization with over 3,000 volunteers deployed around the country on call 24/7 to respond to any accident, disaster, or terror attack. Zaka's rescue unit's swift response to emergencies has saved countless lives and assisted civilian populations. True virtue, or chesed shel emet, is highly visible and emotionally distressing work for which Zaka is best known. This is a unique unit with a unique mission to honor the dead and ensure a full burial for those who need a sudden death, sometimes by collecting spilled blood and body parts at the terror or accident site. Honoring the dead is considered true virtue, chesed shel emet. This is the ultimate act of loving kindness and altruism, performing a deed for which the recipient cannot express gratitude, and is the very hallmark and foundation of Zaka. Before we turn to the witnesses, I would like to invite Nimrod Palmach, CEO of Israelis, an NGO dedicated to fighting anti-Semitism and sharing Israel's story around the world. Mr. Palmach himself, who you will see is armed, participated in the defense of communities on that bloody Saturday. So please, Nimrod.
Thank you very much. So actually, this is the first time I'm wearing my civilian clothes for the last 11 days. I woke up Saturday morning to a beautiful holiday in Israel and starting to get the news of what's happening in the south. At that point, I didn't know what I am. A worried dad that needs to stay with the children, an advocacy combat, as the CEO of Israel is, or a soldier that need to go to defend the south. My instinct told me drive south. People need help. We didn't have the whole picture. You will hear the picture soon. I drove south, no one told me to, only armed with my pistol. Managed to go in right to Tzomet Saad. At that point, my life had changed. There is before and after. I had a minute right before Tzomet Saad to leave a short video in my iPhone to my kids. Aluma and Guni. I told them that I love them and I will miss them. And I will know that they will be beautiful children and they will do amazing things in the world. The reason I did this video, because I knew that probably I will die in a few minutes when I will enter what's happening over there. The moment I got to Tzomet Alumim, I see this beautiful kibbutzim that I know. I used to live in the Gaza envelope, burning. I hear the sound of grenades, weapons firing all over, and so many dead civilians on the road itself right before the kibbutzim. Cars were blowing up. I took a weapon from a dead soldier and joined the fight. We fought for a few hours on Kibbutz Alumim. We managed to defend this kibbutz from around 30 terrorists. We found their maps and their objectives they had their objectives written. What is their mission to do? Kill as many people as you can. I don't know what happened to me. I started to take pictures during the fight. We lost a friend that I just met. I joined in a special forces unit. We lost their friend right next to me. I personally took a vest, a ceramic vest from a soldier that just got injured, shot in the hand. And this vest protected my life. Only an hour later, I got hit in the chest. We fought there for nearly 5 hours. And then we finally entered Kibbutz Be'eri to save whatever was left to save. I eventually left Kibbutz Be'eri around midnight. The things I have seen there, I've never seen something like that. And you will hear the whole story soon. I just want to tell you 2 insights and I will finish. One, we need to choose. There is a force, a power that aims for civilization, for life, for dignity, for love, for optimism, for caring, and there is a force who cherishes death. I've seen it with my own eyes. We were civilians, an army personnel that were fighting to protect life. We tried to enter those kibbutzim. We were ambushed by hundreds of Hamas terrorists. We were trying to get into this kibbutzim and to save life. I can't even try to give you understanding how much harder it is to fight outside of this kibbutzim in front of terrorists and hearing the MKAs shooting at civilians inside. We need to choose. It's only 2 sides. And now it's in Israel, this evilness. Tomorrow it will be in another place. And the second thing I realized, and I will finish with that, for a moment, it was an island in time that the army couldn't get into those kibbutzim. And we felt what's happening to the Jewish people without having an army to protect ourselves. When I grew up, I saw that picture of the little boy raising his hand in the Holocaust, and a German Nazi soldier holding his rifle in front of him. And I said, as long as it is up to me, something like that will never happen to the Jewish people, because we have a country now. But at that terrible Saturday, for 5 hours, we all had witnessed what's happening to the Jewish people without an army, without protection. I want to thank you, the people of Zaka, for what you are doing. All of Israel, Kol Medinat Israel is looking after you and admiring you. And I want to thank you, everyone that decided to come here and to listen and to hear the truth, even if it's a very, very hard thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we'll show a very quick video, and after that, we'll invite all of our witnesses to provide their first-hand accounts. Before opening for questions, your patience is appreciated. I'll just emphasize Yossi Landau to my left will be speaking in English. Mendy Chaviv next to him will be speaking in French.
Oui.
Nachman Lichter after him will be speaking in French and maybe English. And Avi Kowalski at the end will be speaking in Spanish.
Spanish.
מפני כבוד האדם וצנעתו, אבל יש פה גופה ערומה קשורה למשהו, היא קשורה בפה, כפותה, ללא בגדים, וחשוב שאנשים ידעו איזה מראות אנחנו נתקלים פה מדי שעה פשוט. עם הזוועות הכי גדולות שהמפקדים עשו פה יותר ממלחמת העולם השנייה, פשוטו כמשמעה.
Yes, you give the testimony, please.
Is this true? I don't know. This is true, then we're in a very bad dream. My name is Yossi Landa. I'm 55 years old. I live in Ashdod, father of 10 children, grandfather of 22, having a business, international freight forwarding business. 33 years joining Zaka. Sorry, but I think I'm in a dream right now. It's a very bad dream. I'm not eating. I'm not sleeping. Not only me. It's my entire team that I was with them for the last 10 days. 11 days, something like that. And I'm always with them. I know them since they came into the organization. Follow them. Right now, I don't know them. They're all different. This all happened last Saturday, October 7th, 6:30 in the morning, while we were having Saturday holiday, enjoying with the children. Got up to the sirens and missile attack on Ashdod, where I live. Just got my radio, and my wife and my kids knows that when this happens, I'm outside. I'm not in the house. They go into the shelter. I don't know even where the shelter is in my house, because they're always, when it is, we going out. We, the volunteers, we are out for the civilians, to help them and to be there for them. Same thing happened this Saturday, and all of a sudden we start to get some information that the missiles was basically a cover-up for an invasion, major invasion for settlements and for towns and for Kibbutzim and for cities in Israel. No clue what I had. It's chaos. Nobody knows nothing, but I decided it's time for me to be not at home. I got my vest, I got my helmet, went into my car, just called up another volunteer, whoever is available. It's Saturday. We're all religious people. Not everybody is in. We can get in touch. And drove out to the south. We arrived to Sderot. There was still gunshot. Still, it was a war. It's a war zone. Police, soldiers screaming at you, just go down, because it's right in back of you. There's terrorists, and you see people struggling to live. They're wounded. First you go to help them as an EMT volunteer. You just go to help them wherever you can save. And thank God we saved a couple of people with gunshot wounds. And then all of a sudden you see a gun in front of your face, a rifle. And you have no choice but to take him down. And thank God we took him down. Then we went further on the streets. We saw people in cars, people outside, just pedestrians, people in the houses, dead for no reason. Not only Israelis. I arrived to a spot. There was in the car I think there was Chinese workers that came to work. They were all dead. We know we have to treat everybody the same dignity, the same respect. Doesn't make a difference, gender or religion. We treat everybody. But now we used a couple of bodies. The most that we treated in Zaka was 45 bodies in one incident, and we thought this is the highest level we reached. I was all over the world. If it was terror attacks, I'm a survivor of the 9/11 attack. I was there, I was trapped, and I saved people. I was there afterwards, bringing out my friends and people. I was in India. I was in nature disasters. I was a first responder in Miami in Surfside when I was almost blown up by a fire. I saw the death in front of my face numerous times, but it won't stop me to go further what I'm doing. And I'll keep up. We fought, and we had no place where to take the bodies in Sderot. So, sorry to say, but I just broke into a truck that was parked over there. Had no choice, and we filled up that truck with bodies. We've taken the bodies, we put them in the bags, and just putting in the truck. And that's to respect them. They shouldn't be in the street. Then when more of our volunteers came along and we started to settle, to make groups, I sent out a group to Ofakim because we knew that in Ofakim there's also an invasion and there's attacks, there's civilians that killed. So we had a group going over there, and I would say I'll follow them afterwards. Then we went out to the road. The road, it's called Kvish 34. It's the 34, mark 34. It's a piece of road that should take normal, I would say, between 15, 20 minutes. It took us for our volunteers. And while we were under fire, and we have cover up, it took us 11 hours. 11 hours to clean up, and not finally clean up, but whatever we could do. And that's not included burned cars that we saw on the side, that people were burned while they were alive. They got a missile, they got a grenade, and they were burned that we said, okay, we'll keep that for the last, because we have to take first the people that were shot. And I can say 70% of those victims were shot in the back, not in the front. They were all shot in the back, not once, not twice, or from the side. They came in. They even had time to pull them out of the car and search the pockets to find money, to see if they have money. We saw wallets out just lying in the side, and I don't think that the victims did it. And there was no one in that by the victims before we came. So I said to my volunteers, and I said to myself, okay, it's only it's only, shotguns, it's only wounds. We used to it, we saw that, let's go further. And we came to a shelter where people went into that shelter. Was on the summit Mfasim, I think it's the Mfasim, was a shelter. We just go into that shelter and we saw 20 people. They were hugged. They were hugging themselves, trying to defend themselves. They were all burned to death. Just two grenades, hand grenades that did it, the job. And we have to separate them. I don't know if you know, and you should never know, what that means to separate the burned body. It's very difficult, and it's very hard to do that. Because and we saw, even though before we got to the kibbutzim, to the area, to this, those bodies that we picked up, they were talking to us. You know, you're gonna think that, yes, Yossi, you're crazy, you got crazy. No, I was always crazy. I'm a crazy person. Yes, maybe something now happened more, I'll take care of it. But I'm telling you, those bodies told the stories. They were talking to us and telling us, this is what happened to us. And that's before that we saw the torching, that before we saw the bodies, how it looked in the kibbutzim, and I'll get to that. But those bodies that we had to take apart from that shelter were just talking to us. We only tried to defend ourselves. We didn't try to harm anybody. We came over here to enjoy ourselves, to sing, and this is what happened. They were all youngsters. Then we go further. We see a van, Volkswagen, 6 bodies in that. They were not Jews. They were Palestinians. They were shot. Was it, I don't know, it was Israeli plates. They were all shot, and we put them into the bags, the same thing. Like we did to the civilians, to the Jews, because we respect, that's our mission, to respect every human being. They weren't involved in any terror attack, and we're going to respect them. Then they call us in. Okay, so we said, okay, we saw everything. There's nothing else what to see. They call us in Kibbutz Be'eri. We were warned before, we were told before, listen, what you guys are going to see now, just tell me if you're ready or not. If not, we can't take it. I took my team, 50 people in my team, 50 Zaka members that I know them by heart. I know them, the size of the shoe, I know them. I took them for a talk, and I explained them exactly what we're going into. And I didn't ask them to get permission from the wife and the kids, because I knew that if they're gonna ask their family, they will not get any permission. But I asked their own permission. And I told them, before we go in, let's sing a song, because I know we'll need it. We got a song, a hope song. It's a future song. It's a song that we know that there's gonna be light in the end of the tunnel. Took them all together, hugging them. Let's go in. We went in. The first house we saw was a couple, father and mother, sitting there on the knees on the floor. They were on the knees, now they were head down, hands tied to the back. On the other side of the dining room, was in the living room, dining room, call it whatever, was 7-year-old boy and a girl, I would say about 6 years old, sitting just against the parents, hands tied to the back, same position. The bodies were tortured. While now, start to use your imagination. Who was tortured before? Who saw if this was if this was on purpose? If this was the children looking at the parents being tortured, the parents seeing, and when I say tortured, I will say missing body pieces. An eye, just taken out an eye, one eye, fingers being, and all this happened, and by the end, they all had a bullet, and still not finished. In the middle, there's a table. Those terrorists were sitting and eating their Saturday meal that was prepared for this family, and for this family, they just took it. They were hungry, and they took it and they ate this meal while torturing these children and his parents. I broke. I blanked out, and it took me a split second to blank out, and then I got to myself and I said, if this is going to happen to me, then we're done with the job. My volunteers will never be able to do it. Now you can say again, Yossi's a crazy guy. I took them and we started dancing. We didn't dance, we just sat down next to the bodies. In the blood, we were sitting in the blood, singing. We had this white suits, and I told them when we go out, we're gonna take this white cover suits and we'll change it. But for now, we're sitting next to the bodies in the blood, and we're gonna sing this song that they were supposed to sing for the holiday for Saturday. And we're gonna make like they sitting with us by the meal. It took us like 3 to 5 minutes. And then one of my volunteers said, Yossi, enough. We have to go further. We just got up. We took them, we handled them, we put them in the bags, and we said, now we're going further. I told them, let's go change because we're full of blood. My volunteer says, no, yes, we're going to change, but I need a bag. I want to take this home. We go further. We going into the next house. It was an old lady. She was dead. We took her. We said, I'm sorry that we can't handle like we usually do to take the blood and everything. We go further. Then we see a woman. She was about, I would say, 30, age of 30. She was lying on the floor, a puddle of blood, big puddle of blood, face down. We have to turn her over in order to put her into the body bag. She was a pregnant woman. Her stomach was butchered though. The baby that was connected to the cord was stabbed, and she was shot in the back. Now we go into the same imagination. We're using, let's talk to the body, let's talk, let's see what happened. Did she see that? What was done to her baby? Or she didn't. Maybe she didn't have that suffer. We don't know. But we had a debate between us if to use 2 body bags for the baby and for the mother. That was our debate. While sitting with our children and having fun, we're debating between us if to use 2 body bags. We decided we're going to use only 1 body bag because we don't want to disconnect this baby from the mother. I'll have a break, please.
Okay, Yossi, I'm Udomi, I'm filling in for Talia. Thank you for your candid testimony, and we salute your courage. Nachman Dickstein, please.
Excusez-moi, je vais commencer en français. Après, qu'est-ce que Yossi a à raconter. J'étais beaucoup avec lui, c'est-à-dire on a vu beaucoup les mêmes choses. Mais moi, je vais commencer comme ça. Je m'appelle Nachman Dickstein, j'habite à Kiev. Je suis venu pour les fêtes en Israël, pour voir les enfants et les petits-enfants. Je pensais que j'ai tout vu là-bas. Mais en fait, j'ai rien vu. J'étais partout en Ukraine, mais qu'est-ce que j'ai vu ici en une nuit? En fait, c'est juste qu'hier soir, quand on était dehors, que j'étais dehors, mais qu'est-ce que j'ai vu la première nuit? C'était samedi, alors je voulais pas sortir, je savais pas, personne ne savait exactement qu'est-ce qui se passe. Je suis sorti samedi soir. J'ai dit je vais faire la route, et on va voir. Et en fait, je ne sais pas de quel côté lui il est arrivé. Moi je suis arrivé, toute la route elle était pleine de voitures brûlées, les gens jetés sur la rue, des gens qui se sont encourus. Des femmes, des enfants, des vieux, de tout. Et je me demandais, peut-être, ça serait comme quand j'étais en Ukraine et j'ai vu qu'il y a des morts, mais peut-être il y a des blessés que je peux aller aider. Alors je dis, j'avance, je continue, je laisse les morts. Alors je demande à ma femme, appelle les gens qui sont, où il y avait la messiba, où il y avait la fête. Appelle les gens là-bas, est-ce qu'il y a quoi aider pour des malades et des blessés, où je m'occupe des corps. Parce que j'étais sûr que j'arriverai là-bas, on va retrouver encore des gens vivants qu'on peut peut-être essayer d'aider. Et en fait, la réponse était non, reste sur place, commence à emballer, prends des sacs et nous on est sortis avec un rouleau de sacs, on avait une soixantaine de sacs. Ça n'a pas pris longtemps qu'on était sans sac. Et alors on a continué jusqu'à la fête, il y avait la fête. Et je pensais que j'ai tout vu dans le chemin, mais en fait, non, pas du tout. Il y avait les deux côtés, il y avait un côté où il y avait les corps qui étaient tués par balle. Et moi je suis arrivé, et on dit Zaka, viens nous aider. Et on a vu des corps brûlés, carrément brûlés. On les mettait dans un sac, et le sac il fondait. On mettait un deuxième sac, un troisième sac. Les mains ils sont brûlées, les gants ils ont brûlé. Honnêtement. On a eu on peut même pas s'imaginer, c'était. Et comme ça, c'était. Je compte pas des corps. On compte pas des corps. Mais il y en avait beaucoup. Et après ça, on a continué de l'autre côté. J'ai dit, ok, j'ai vu des. C'était plus que 50 corps comme ça. J'ai vu. Je vais de l'autre côté et c'était encore plus affreux. Comme ça, on était jusqu'à 8h du matin. À 8h du matin, on tenait plus. Je suis rentré à la maison. On a dormi peut-être 2 heures. Et on est reparti. Je dis, c'est sûr qu'on a déjà nettoyé tout. Peut-être je dois même pas partir. Mais je dis, je vais partir, je vais aller voir. Et là, on voyait des. C'était pas du tout fini. Parce que plus qu'on avançait, il y avait encore des corps. Encore des gens qui sont essayés de s'enfuir. C'était encore 6, encore 10, encore 15, encore 20. Et.
Let's move to Mendy Habib.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Mendy Habib, je suis père de 8 enfants, la petite elle a même pas 1 an. Je suis 25 ans dans Zaka. Zaka c'est l'organisation des volontaires qui s'occupent de tout ce qui est mort au dehors des hôpitaux pendant la routine. Et je suis monté en Israël quand j'avais 3 ans de Toulouse. Je suis né en Toulouse. Je suis venu quand j'avais 3 ans. Je ne parle pas très bien le français, j'ai des mots qui me manquent, mais j'espère que vous allez me comprendre. Et je suis désolé pour mon français. Je suis chef dirigeant de Zaka. Comme je vous ai dit, les gens qui s'occupent des morts pendant la routine, même quand il y a des guerres, ça veut dire chaque fois qu'il y a des morts au dehors de l'hôpital, on vient et c'est nous qu'on s'occupe avec la police et s'il faut avec l'armée, avec l'armée. Moi, j'ai commencé à entendre des sirènes. Chez moi à la maison, j'habite Kfar Chabad, c'est au centre du pays, à côté de l'aéroport. On a commencé à voir samedi matin les sirènes, on est rentré dans les chambres fermées, des chambres spéciales. On est déjà habitué, c'est pas la première fois. Mais comme chef dirigeant, j'ai un walkie-talkie et je commence à entendre que c'est pas comme les autres fois qui tiraient. Ils sont rentrés dans des villages. Et c'était des bruits comme ça, c'était pas par téléphone. Et on est sorti à la synagogue, c'était la grande fête de Simchat Torah. Ce samedi, c'était une fête spéciale pour le peuple juif. C'est une des fêtes les plus joyeuses qu'il y a dans l'année. Et j'entends les gens qui parlent comme ça, des informations. Nous, les juifs, Shabbat, les juifs religion, on n'a pas de téléphone le Shabbat, on n'a rien du tout. Ça veut dire, on entend des bruits. Chacun envoie quelque chose qui sont rentrés dans des villages. Les mechablim, on dit les terroristes. Les terroristes sont rentrés dans des villages. Bon, je comprends que je dois sortir là-bas. Dès que Shabbat sort, je me prépare, je sors les équipes je prépare les équipes dans les WhatsApp, que tout le monde soit prêt, et je sors là-bas. Quand j'arrive au premier, je sors avec mon ambulance et avec encore 3 équipes de Zaka Centre avec les ambulances. Moi et mon équipe, on arrive au premier Marsom, ça veut dire où l'armée elle arrête, elle lui dit vous ne pouvez pas passer par là, c'est dangereux. Il y a on peut tirer sur vous. C'est encore c'est plein guerre, on n'a pas fini de réagir sur place pour que ça soit sûr pour vous. Bon, on parle un petit peu et après on rentre. Quand on rentre, c'était le massacre ce qu'on a vu. Ça veut dire des voitures à droite, à gauche. Et là, on commence à comprendre un petit peu ce qui se passe. On voit des gens fusillés dans des voitures que c'est des familles, des jeunes, des couples, des corps qui ont sorti des voitures où il n'y a personne, il n'y a même pas de balles. Il y avait une BMW 740 toute neuve, noire, et les portes ouvertes. Il n'y avait pas de balles dans la voiture, aucune balle, il n'y avait personne, mais derrière il y avait la chaise de bébé. Et ils ont ouvert le coffre aussi était ouvert et il y avait la poussette derrière. Je ne sais pas ce qu'ils ont fait avec eux, je ne peux pas imaginer, mais c'est ce que j'ai vu sur place. Et on continue, on voit des cadavres de partout. Et voilà, on commence à ramasser. On commence à travailler, à ramasser tout ce qu'on voit. Et ça devient de pire en pire parce qu'on voit des voitures avec des familles brûlées. Ça veut dire que tout le monde est brûlé dans la voiture. On voit des gens fusillés. Je vois des gens dans les champs qui sont sur ma droite. Quand je passe en face du kibbutz Miflassim, je m'arrête, je rentre avec l'armée dans le champ, des jeunes, des jeunes qui ont tiré sur eux. Une fille qui a à peu près 20, 21, 22 ans, qui était fusillée avec les téléphones sur elle. Et on voit la balle dans le dos, et après on voit le téléphone, il était à côté de l'oreille, on voit les tirs dans le téléphone, dans la tête, de près. Ça veut dire ils sont venus pour voir qu'elle est morte. Et ça, c'est que le début de ce qu'on a vu. Ça, c'est des trucs encore. Pendant 25 ans, j'ai tout vu. J'ai vu des enfants décapités dans des valises qu'ils ont jetées dans la mer, dans un endroit où il y a de l'eau pour aller pour la mer, qui va à la mer dans des, je sais pas comment on dit, mais sur le Hercon. J'ai vu des enfants décapités quand le père il voulait se venger de la mère et il a décapité ses enfants. Alors j'ai vu des choses pareilles pendant ma vie. Je suis 25 ans, je vois tous les morts, qu'il y a tous les... Mais là, cette fois-ci, quand je suis rentré le deuxième jour, comme le premier et le deuxième jour, je ne pouvais pas rentrer dans les villages arabes. Dans les villages que les Mechablim, les assassins, ils sont rentrés, ils ont tué. On ne pouvait pas encore rentrer parce qu'il y avait encore l'armée dedans, il y avait des combats encore là-bas. Et ce n'était pas stérilisé pour nous de rentrer. Ils ont attendu de finir les combats et qu'après, quand on était sûr, on pouvait rentrer. Le premier village que je suis rentré, c'était Miflassim. Le deuxième village que je suis rentré, c'était Be'eri. Quand je suis rentré dans Be'eri, et je commence à passer maison par maison, ça devient le massacre. Mais c'est un massacre que j'arrive pas à imaginer, et je pense pas que quelqu'un peut imaginer ce massacre. C'est maison par maison, les gens, ils sont fusillés, brûlés, vous les voyez dans les appartements, au dehors des appartements, sur la pelouse, sur le chemin, ça veut dire tout le village, maison par maison, des gens qui sont morts, des cadavres de partout. Comment les cadavres y sont? C'est une horreur. Il y a de tout. Il y a des enfants, il y avait une femme âgée qui était brûlée au dehors de sa maison, dans sa chaise roulante. Et la maison est brûlée, complètement. Il y a des gens qui sont dans des maisons brûlées, des enfants. Je suis entré dans une maison où il y a les enfants attachés, brûlés. Les parents, ils sont fusillés. Il n'y a pas toute la maison qui a été brûlée. Les enfants, ils ont été brûlés. Il y avait jusqu'à présent encore des morceaux qu'on ramasse, c'est des mains, des bras, des mains avec le bras qu'il faut prendre, il faut trouver pour savoir c'est à qui ça appartient, l'identification. Une femme enceinte dans une maison, qu'il y a du sang de partout dans la maison. Et là, le ventre est coupé. Et ça ne s'arrête pas. Ça ne s'arrête pas. Ça continue. Des morceaux, ça veut dire, s'il faut ramasser une tête, il y a la tête par terre sans le corps, que la tête. Pas que dans les villages. Il y avait au dehors de Be'eri, en face de Be'eri, au dehors de Be'eri, il y a les champs de culture. Il y a les Thaïlandais, il fallait comprendre. Les Thaïlandais, ils ont tué, ils sont rentrés, ils ont massacré les Thaïlandais, mais pas simplement fusillés. Ça veut dire qu'il y avait des coups de hache ou je ne sais pas de quoi, parce qu'on voyait vraiment qu'ils ont essayé de déchirer les corps. Une jeune fille que son copain, le deuxième jour, il vient la chercher. J'étais sûr que le premier jour, Je l'ai trouvée, c'est moi qui l'ai rentrée dans le sachet parce qu'elle avait un tatouage d'une fleur dans le dos. Et moi, j'ai pris la photo du tatouage. Mais quand je lui ai demandé, dis-moi, est-ce qu'elle a quelque chose pour la reconnaître, ta copine? Il m'a dit non, c'est cette voiture. Et c'était juste à côté où j'ai ramassé la fille avec le tatouage dans le dos. Il m'a dit c'est une fleur. J'étais sûr que c'était la même fleur. Mais non, c'était pas sa copine, c'était pas cette fleur. Mais 1 heure après, j'ai une de mes équipes qui parle dans l'Oki-Toki et qui me dit on ramasse une jeune fille. Je leur ai dit de venir à la poste à essence à l'entrée de Kfar Aza. J'ouvre le sachet et je vois le tatouage qui m'a envoyé son copain. Il est encore sur place. Il y a 1 heure qui est passée depuis la photo qu'il m'a envoyée que je l'ai vue. Mais le corps, il est déjà complètement déchiré. Le corps, il est déchiré. Ça veut dire, si vous voyez la photo du tatouage, comment il est avant, une belle fille, magnifique, de 20 ans. J'ai les photos sur mon téléphone. Si vous voulez après, je vous montre. Et comment il est le corps, le tatouage tout de suite après, c'est une catastrophe ce qu'on lui a fait à cette fille. Ok, voilà, si vous avez des questions, je suis là pour répondre. Je vais
Not yet. A few words in Spanish. By the way, these people will be available later for individual interviews. So, Avi Kowalski, please.
Hola a todos, mi nombre es Avi Kowalski. Yo vivo en Kiryat Arba, 30 kilómetros sur de Jerusalén, y soy profesor de matemática. Empecé voluntario en Zaka hace 3 años y yo voy a contar qué pasa y qué vi, solo que yo vi realmente. Mira, yo voy a leer porque mi español no es perfecto. Entendemos que bajo mucha seguridad y en la primera casa que estuvimos, vi un perro muerto y vi una mujer con cerebro afuera. Es algo terrible, mira, ves. Y en otra casa que estuve, vi una bebé que quemado sin cabeza. Y mira, no vi mucha, es que es lo que vi, yo escuché más terribles cosas. Vos sabés que yo vi mis hijos en sábado y pensé sobre que el bebé que vi, vos sabés que tengo 7 hijos y tengo un hijo de 5 años de edad. Y yo hablé con él, oh, ¿cómo estás? ¿Sí? Vos sabés que el chico, ¿sí? Y no puedo sin pensar que vi. Es bebé que vi, es algo terrible. Y ahora también no puedo. ¿Qué podemos continuar? Es que puedo decir un abrazo a todos, muchas gracias para escuchar, es muy importante.
Thank you. Yossi would like to say a few more words. Yossi, please.
Sorry for before, but it's nothing that I could do. I want to give a message. It's a message to the world. And we should know that we have no enemies in the Arab world. We have in our organization, and not only in our organization, in every private life, I have a lot of friends, customers, and co-workers, Arabs, Palestinians, Christians, everything. Those people, I won't call them people because we can't call them people. We can't call them animals. We can't call them, this is something that they don't belong to our world. I would say I never met the ISIS, but from the videos that we saw from the ISIS, and as we know that the Arab world condemned the ISIS, this is the same thing has to happen over here. They don't belong to the world. They're not good for the world. We want to live, we can have a nice living without them. Whatever they did, they didn't do it only to my brothers and sisters. They did it for the world. This is to show that the world is dangerous while they're living. Israel has to go do everything. It's not only Israel, it's the world, and we see that. And we thank the world. That for the support, that we see the support in the world, although we see some small groups I saw all over that they're protesting on behalf of they're not even protesting, they make it like for the Palestinians, but for the Palestinians it's not good that they're controlling them. They're only controlling the Palestinians. We have nothing against the Palestinians. We want to live our life. And none of us came to attack the children. I want to give for my team that was with me for the last week. We thought we were finished. It was only yesterday, and I can say it was only yesterday, it was 10 days after the attack, in Kfar Aza, we thought there's no more bodies, and we went in to take, unfortunately, it's very hard for us to do, but we do it because we're human beings, to collect the terrorists. We collect them with the same honor that we collect the civilians. And all of a sudden, we see a body. I would say he was maybe 14 or 15, a youngster. He was not in the house, but he was outside. Like, it looks like, and as I said before, the bodies would, telling the stories, he was running. He was on a run. And they most probably got mad at him. And they killed him and they chopped off his head. We found him without a head. We put him in a bag. We don't know who this is. It's for sure not a terrorist, because we know the clothing that he was wearing. But, he was without a head. The evil, the horror, is crying. It's crying. And I don't know why this has to happen. We go home, we can't talk to the wife, we can't talk to the children, we can't tell them anything. The smell, when I came home, I woke up my wife in the middle of the night and asking her, "Are you sure you put everything in the fridge? Don't you have any meat outside that a couple of days already?" And she knew what I'm going through. We have the smell. That's what we're smelling. That's what we're eating. And that was just started for a nice, beautiful holiday with no warn before, with nothing doing to them before. I ask you, I beg you, please have a prayer. Pray for us that we should be able to raise our children with no damages, we should be
normal father, normal grandfather. That's all what we need. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Yossi. Questions?
Yeah, please. So
We have mics, so bear with us for a second. Thank you for your time and all of these accounts, testimonies. I wanted to know, I wanted to focus, if possible, on some specific stories. So you were two, et je vais poser la question en français aussi. Vous avez parlé d'une femme enceinte. You talked about a pregnant woman. Can we have details about her, where she was found, at what time, if possible, how did she look like? Maybe asking a bit of details to know more about that case. And yeah, that would be a first question, please.
That was
En
one.
français, j'ai pas.
Pardon, j'ai refait en français. Donc, en fait, ce que je voudrais, c'est avoir plus de détails sur cette femme enceinte qui a été retrouvée, dont le ventre a été découpé. Je voudrais savoir quand est-ce qu'elle a été trouvée, dans quel kibbutz, ou à quel endroit, à quelle heure, est-ce que vous avez des détails, à quoi elle ressemblait, est-ce qu'elle était blonde, est-ce qu'elle était brune, etc. Est-ce qu'on peut avoir une idée un peu plus précise, s'il vous plaît?
Je pense que c'est une question. Je vais vous dire d'abord la réponse, mais je pense que c'est une question un peu.
Trop demandé.
Je sais pas comment on dit.
Exagéré.
Hein?
Exagéré.
Oui,
C'est un petit peu exagéré.
C'est pas exagéré, mais c'est pire que ça, je pense.
Je vous ai montré hier.
Je vais vous expliquer. Je vais vous expliquer.
Je vous ai déjà montré hier des choses, je crois, assez fortes pour comprendre qu'on n'est pas là pour vous raconter des histoires. Et je crois que qu'est-ce que vous avez vu hier, la femme torturée, la photo d'un enfant avec une hache dans la tête, et on voit le signe de la tête qu'il a reçu une hache. Ça suffit. Vous voulez encore gratter pour la peine qu'on a?
Non, je vais vous dire, c'est la maison, vous descendez dans le village Be'eri. Ok, Be'eri, vous descendez dans le village, dedans le village. Vous avez la maison à gauche qui est brûlée complètement. Tout de suite après, vous avez une maison qui est complètement détruite par des comment on dit là, ce qu'on met sur, des roquettes. RPG, la grande maison. En face de cette maison, sur la droite, vous avez eu la maison où ils ont brûlé les enfants et la femme, et la mère et le père. Ils étaient fusillés. 3 maisons après, sur la gauche, vous rentrez, la femme était dans la maison, dans le salon. À l'entrée, vraiment à l'entrée, c'est dès que vous rentrez dans le salon, et là elle était par terre avec le ventre coupé et le bébé dehors. Voilà.
Okay, next, please. Go. Go. Next.
We also have a request to say the answer again in English if possible, and I'm sure Uri was going to say that the next question, if the speaker could just introduce themselves and say which outlet they're from.
Yes, please.
The same answer
Yes.
in English if possible. first.
יוסי, תתן אותו תשובה באנגלית. שאני אתן אותו?
של האישה בהיריון בכניסה לבית בסלון, אני רוצה לשמוע.
איפה מצאתם אותה? דיטלס. הוא רוצה פרטים.
איפה מצאתם אותה?
בבית.
בבית, כן, באיזה בית? הוא אמר, תגיד לו מה אמרת בצרפתית.
הוא כנראה מפקפק
אוקיי.
Matt Fry from Channel 4 News in the UK. Thank you very much for your testimony.
1 second, please.
Oh, sorry. I should know. Right, can you hear me now? Hello? It's still not working. Yeah, I do. Okay, maybe I have to hold it closer. Okay, it's fine. My name is Matt Fry from Channel 4 News in the UK. Thank you very much for your testimony. It was the hardest thing I think I've ever heard in my journalistic career. And I cannot imagine what you're going through. Yossi, let me ask you, how do you carry on living after seeing what you've seen? How do you deal with that? And are you also, do you worry that maybe the stories, the things that you've seen, right, what you're telling us, can be used in order to visit violence on innocent civilians on the other side of this?
We're in a mission now, and we were taught when every volunteer goes into this organization and start testing him. And I was tested not once and not twice while I was feeding my own family that were in terror attacks and all other disasters. It could be a car accident when you come by yourself, and it could be every unnatural death when you come to, and sometimes it's your own family member. You have to know to split your job and your thoughts and your feelings. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Unfortunately, after 33 years of doing this, I'm used to this already. I thought so. As of now, I know the mission is still not over, it's still not finished. We're in the middle of the mission. When I will finish the mission, I'm sure I'll get some help, and I will need some help. When I came home, I wasn't home Saturday, I came home Friday, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That was the first time I came home. My wife and kids, they looked at me. They didn't recognize me. I lost, I would say, about 5 kilograms of my weight. And I look different. And people are telling me, you know, I went to the synagogue on Saturday, meeting some friends. They were afraid to talk to me, and I saw that. They all looked in the back. Something's wrong with this guy. But as I promised for my volunteers, when we had the first incident, that I promised them, we will not leave the job without knowing that everyone, every civilian, everyone that was killed will get the full respect. It's not only for them, it's for the families. And that's our promise. That keeps us going. And another thing that keeps us going is the support of the world. We feel we have the support. The world feels it, and they know exactly. We don't have any images. We might have images, but it's against our rules, against our religion. It's not the honor. We know it's not the honor. I know if I would see one of my volunteers taking a picture of a victim, and I would take him out of the force. Why? You never know what can happen tomorrow looking on that images, or one of his kids. I remember once, was a couple years ago when it was terrorist attacks, and I was crawling up on a wall taking off body parts, and a photographer, journalist, he made some pictures of me, and then my kids were small then, and they didn't know exactly what I'm doing in Zaka, but he wanted to do me a favor. He sent me home some pictures that he photoed me. And I wasn't home, and they opened up the envelope and they looked at it, and I came home. They didn't want to talk to me. I didn't know why. They said, we have a crazy father. So this can happen, therefore there's no images. We will not make any pictures. And if yes, we'll give it for this for sources. Sometimes we have to make pictures. Yes, we're gonna make pictures. But in general, and second of all, in these kind of, we don't have to prove any war crime that happened over here. It's when somebody's being shot in the back, or when we went in and we saw 2 piles of children, minors. I wouldn't say they were babies. I would say they're minors. I would say they were age 10 to 15. They took them in to one place. They weren't even shot. They were the hands tied but burned. They were all burned. Isn't that a war crime?
You see. I take the liberty of answering your second question, okay? Using the privilege of the moderator. There's a lot of anger among Israelis right now. But at the same time, and most people didn't even hear everything you heard just now. And still, we are not out there to punish anybody. We told the people of Gaza, leave your homes because we were going to bomb your homes, because we're going to go after the Hamas people who did all that. So even in the heat of emotions, I don't think Israelis are out there to punish or to go the slippery slope of reaching the same level. Next question. I want to thank you all. I think we heard a lot of stories about courage in battle, but I think these are the unsung heroes of everything, and we salute whatever you're doing. And we now split to individual interviews. Thank you very much for coming.